for your Caesar. Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar. For your Caesar. Cardiff City, get litty for your Caesar. She want a diff boy. Swagger 1 point, yeah, diff boy. She want a diff boy. Swagger 1 point, yeah, diff boy. For your Caesar. Grab a little something for your Caesar. We the geezers. Swagger stone cold like freezers. She want a diff boy. She want Starvz, not Fitzroy. She want a diff boy. She want Starvz, not Fitzroy. She want a big man. Says she want a man from...
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. It is time for a deep dive. We're going tactical preview as my cat has just invaded. Come on then. Well, it's a deep dive into Rotherham versus Cardiff City. Rotherham travelled to the Cardiff City Stadium Saturday, the 16th of August. The first 3 o'clock kickoff of the season. Get in. But it's going to be an interesting one. Rotherham have been up and down Championship League One for a while. We've certainly played Rotherham a couple of times, a few times over the years. Always high scoring. And I expect that this to be pretty much the same. Both teams quite poor defensively. Rotherham are poor away from home. Cardiff are decent at home. Set up for a good game, I reckon. But let's have a little look. Historically, Cardiff do tend to hold the edge in this fixture, which is good for us. But yeah, Rotherham have got dangerous players. Don't let that fool you. Or we'll get into that now. Because when you break it down, Rotherham's form heading into it. Obviously, last year they finished 13th in League One, mid-table campaign. And then 25-26 season, they kicked off with a nice 2-1 victory over Port Vale, who of course Cardiff drew with. But then that was thanks to Sam Noam. And then moving on from there, they went 0-0 against Salford in the League Cup, which went to penalties. And of course, they lost 1-0 away to Stevenage. Their away form is a problem. But they've taken three points from 2 games. Whereas Cardiff has been quite the opposite. 4 points from 2 games, not quite the opposite. But we're unbeaten. Doesn't seem to be any key absences for Rotherham. A couple of little knocks and stuff, but no massive injuries, suspensions, things like that. So I think that's a plus point for them for sure. And when you go into the Rotherham predicted 11, that's when you do see a bit of a difference, because Sam Noam is a real good striker. He's a real live wire, and he is the type of striker in a team which will look to exploit on the transition. He's the kind of striker who will cause Cardiff City problems, because he will attack the space that Ronan Kipakiao leaves when he gets forward. So them on the transition is going to be really, really interesting. But it's another team which likes 3 at the back as well, Rotherham. So I expect them to line up something like this. As we always say, it's a bit of a guess. But Dawson in goal, Rafferty, Raggett and Agbeya as the 3. I think then Kelly will be the holder, because they play it slightly different. They go 3-1-4-2 rather than 3-4-2-1 or 1-2 like most teams do. So they have a 3 and then they have a holder, Kelly. Then they have the 4, which will be Hall, probably Gore, Powell and James. And I'll tell you something, Powell and Gore in the middle, 2 really, really good footballers. Hall and James will be up and down. They will support as wingers. They will get back in and make the defence very compact. They'll almost be like a 5 and a 3 when they're playing, when we're asking Cardiff to play through them. And up front, you'll have Hugo, very traditionally good footballer at this age group. Actually came off for Kiana Tete the other day. Kiana Tete will obviously be unavailable. I should have mentioned that earlier, because he's on loan from us. And then Sam Noam. And Sam Noam, as I said, he will be the one. So what they will look to do in this system, and I like the system, I like these 3 at the back systems, I think we all know this at this point. is it'll swing. So Kelly will drop in to make it a back four sometimes. When they lose possession, they'll move it back into a back five with Hall and James dropping in and Kelly just sitting in front. Then you've got Kelly, Gore and Powell will sometimes become a three in the midfield. Sometimes Powell or Gore will get up and it'll become like a 3-3-4. And you'll have the wingers up right up with the strikers. But I don't expect we'll see that much because I expect them to be very compact when we've got the ball, and they'll try and make themselves very difficult to play against. And what I expect them to do actually is, because they'll be looking for a way to stop what we do with the ball, and what Cardiff do is they shift the opposition side to side, they shift them, and then they switch with a long diagonal. Now, if you've got a back five, there's much less space for those wingers, even if they do what we do and they got chalk on their boots. There's a lot less room, and it makes it a lot more difficult to play. And I mentioned this the other day. Cardiff must find a way to build up through the middle as well as the, those switch balls down the side. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think when I look at this side, I think there's individuals in this side that could give Cardiff some problems. And I look at who the danger man is for them, and I do like Dan Gore, and I like Powell. I quite like Kelly as well, actually. But like Sam Nome has got engine on him. He is tailor-made for direct, physical, sharp, and he's clinical in front of goal. The that early season setup suggests that they could cause Cardiff some issues with him, because he will target the spaces that Capaccio, that Bagan leave, and I think he'll be decent in the press as well at the right time. And when you look at him, he scored 2 in 2 matches. I'd be very shocked if he doesn't start. He is the focal point. If Cardiff lose their shape or they leave space behind, he will be ready to pounce, and that could be an issue for Cardiff. When we switch over to Cardiff, emotions are high. Obviously, there's a bit of frustration around at the moment because Cardiff haven't brought any players in. But the start of the season, I think, on the pitch has been largely positive. They had a good win against Peterborough, a good win in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday, and then, you have the 0-0 draw in between. But they got 4 points from 2 games. We'd have taken that, God, after last year. How many games do we go before we got a point or a goal? It was brutal. So, look, not that it matters at this point in times, but we're just outside the playoff places. There's no new injury issues as far as I'm aware, although I haven't seen press conference as of when I record this. Hoping that Alex Robertson will be back in the squad, or at least in contention. He looked like he had his stitches out the other day, but I don't know. This team is going to get better. I wouldn't expect Jesper Darlin to be in there, so maybe like a Cater or a De Bono or someone could come in as centre-back cover. Depends if Brian Barry Murphy thinks we need it, I guess. In terms of that predicted 11, I think Nathan Trott will start. I think Joel Bagan has to start left back. I think Ronan Capaccio has to keep his spot. And then I think you go... Now, it's not what I would go. It's what I think the manager will go with. I would go with Fish and Lawler. But I think the manager will go with Chambers and Fish. I think then we will see Ryan Wintle sit in front with Ruben Colwell, and I think we see Joel Colwell back again in the starting 11. So it'll be those 3 in midfield, and then out on the wing. I think if Isaac Davis didn't have the injury history that he did, I think Isaac Davis would be starting. However, I'm not sure they'll want to risk him after he plays an hour on Wednesday. So I'm going to go with Ollie Tanner off the left. and Kean Ashford off the right, with Yusuf Salic coming back in to the number 9 spot. And all I can say is if we put set pieces and crosses in like we did on Wednesday, then Yusuf Salic will score goals, because the set piece and the delivery from wide areas was exceptional. Will Ruben Caldwell score another free kick? That is the question. Be interesting, wouldn't it? Tactically, I mean, we're starting to get a feel for what Brian Barry Murphy likes these days now. He likes to move the ball. He likes to move the ball quick. He likes to move teams and try and pull teams out of position, move them side to side, and then switch to play with a long diagonal to the wingers. Now, as I mentioned just now in my Rotherham part, this could be a problem with a back 5. So that we need to find different ways to play. We need to find runners off the ball. This is one of the reasons why I think Joel Caldwell will play. We need to be quick in a transition. We need to be quick moving the ball. One thing I did notice on Wednesday versus Swindon Town is every time we got a free kick, we just took it quickly. Just constantly making them tired and making them move. I like that. Got to get that ball into Yusuf Salic and make it good balls. And look, danger man. I think, you could go Ronan Pacquiao. I think he's been vital to Cardiff City's build-up. But Joel Bagan had a great game in terms of the build-up on Wednesday. Yusuf Salic, there's all these different players, but I think it's got to be Ruben Caldwell. I think he has been exceptional in pretty much every game. He's been very, very good. Maybe the Port Vale game was a little bit off. But even then, I thought, this guy does so much sprinting off the ball. He's vital to the way Cardiff press. And he does hundreds of sort of short sprints every game. Two top quality free kicks already this season, which says, will do the wonders for his confidence. And I think when you look at the way Cardiff will try and shift, they're going to keep those wingers really, really high. And maybe, Joel Caldwell with those little underlaps under the right-hand side, whereas Ruben Caldwell will look to drop more into the pockets to try and get on it around the half space to get it on his right foot and whip one of those killer shots in. So, two very different ways of playing on either wing. They'll have to navigate the back 5 at times, but also if they can catch Rotherham in the transition when they're not in a 5, there's space to burn for Ashford or Tanner or whoever's in those wide areas. So we need a bit of pace, need a bit of guile to break down compact teams, but you also need a bit of pace as well. So in rounded up, I think Cardiff will be very aggressive again. The manager will be encouraging them to squeeze, put Rotherham under pressure, and I think they're going to need a bit of midfield guile in this game. I think Rotherham are going to be pretty solid. I think they're going to try and sit in and rely on Nome or Hugel to get them goals on the set pieces and off the breaks. But history does favour Cardiff. I'm going 3-1 to Cardiff. I just think at the moment Cardiff are close to clicking, and when it clicks, the home advantage, midfield incisiveness, the way they've been playing, I just think that combined with Rotherham's poor away form could be something for Cardiff to hold on to. And I actually think Cardiff have played pretty good all season. I think we've been decent. Port Vale, physically we struggled, but I thought we really did well in the Swindon game when they tried to make it physical and they tried to put us under pressure after they got that goal. We stood up to it. Well done, those young players. Those young players are going to learn all the time. And David Turnbull as well. Be very unlucky not to start Saturday. I would go with Joel Caldwell though, but that's just me. Guys, let me know what you think the starting 11 will be in the comments. Let me know what you think the score will be. And of course, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong about Joel Caldwell or whoever starting. I always enjoy it. Give me the context. Like, share, subscribe. We'll be back tonight with Aaron and Rob. Tomorrow night with a post-match reaction. with the 1927 Club, and I'll be back with the Breakdown podcast live on Sunday. Keep the faith, my friends. Come and say hello at the game, and I'll see you in a bit.
Rascal Beats.
For your Caesar. Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar.